Hello, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are enjoying the Christmas season as much as I am and everything that it has to bring with it. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so you'll know whenever one of my videos is online. I will be trying to be more punctual about it, I promise. If you see me look down today, I will be consulting my notes, because I wrote all my information down and I want to say it all and don't forget a thing. Today I am going to talk about the top 5 tips you can use to get kids excited about reading and maybe get them off even for a couple of minutes their tablets, their phones, their computers, their consoles, whatever they like to use that is more electronic. One thing you should keep in mind is that not every kid is the same, just like not every person is the same. You will either like reading or you don't, but you can do a few things here and there to encourage them to read consistently in order to be good in the long run. It is also important for them to read consistently in order for them to be good in language and their essays and in the future their assignments, because you cannot write good assignments if you don't read. Like I mentioned in another video that I will link here, reading is like breathing. That is how I read this somewhere and I find that it explains it all in a small sentence. Reading is like breathing in and writing is breathing out. You cannot hope for your children to write properly if they do not read. I do recommend that you watch my other video if you aspire to become a writer and want to know how it started for me, because I go a little bit more in depth about that in that other video. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Tip number 1. Tip 1 to getting your children interested in reading, and probably one of the most important ones, is reading yourself. Whether it is a magazine, a blog, a book, whatever it is, children like to imitate. And if they see you, their parent, reading, chances they will follow, just like I did when I used to watch my mother read. My mother used to read a lot, and sometimes we used to sit near each other just to read. Reading in my house was never something that was an option, it was just something that we did. It was like breathing to us, like obviously you have to read, what else would you do with your time? Keep in mind that back then we didn't have electronics, we didn't have internet, so maybe that went a little to my mother's luck in the reading department, so maybe that helped the reading part. Today, children have more things to do on their internet. They can talk to their friends whenever they want, so maybe they opt for that instead of books. But you still have to at least introduce them to some reading time, because it is very important for them to read. It is also crucial that you read to them when they are of a younger age. You need to start early when it comes to reading. It needs to become something mundane, something that they do every day, one of their day-to-day things that they do. Whether you are reading to them, with them, or letting them read to you, incorporate books in everyday life. That is how they grow with books, that is how they will probably always be with books, with their children and their life overall. Tip number 2. Do not make books a punishment. I want this to be very clear. Never make books a punishment. Say it again. Never make books a punishment. It is important that you do not tell them that because they misbehave, they have to read. You need to make sure that in their mind, books are not associated with something bad, or that is how they are going to view books for the rest of their lives. For example, tell them that if they read at least 5 pages, they get an extra something. Incorporate reading during happy times so that they always associate books with something happy and good. Sometimes when we're having a very good day, me and my daughter sit down and I tell her, listen, let's read 5 pages today, and I'll read on the other side of the sofa, you read over there. I want you to read at least 5 pages, or instead of pages I go with time. Let's read for at least 30 minutes and then we go do something else. I have to be honest, my daughter is not someone who likes to read a lot, but she knows that she has to, and she does have a book near her, near in bed, and sometimes before she sleeps, she knows she's gonna do 15 minutes of it, because she knows I don't allow tablets when she's falling asleep, because we believe that it hinders sleep. And so I tell her, if you don't want to sleep immediately after you go to bed, you should read, because that's what I do. It helps me. Therefore, books for her is always associated with something relaxing, like when we're alone and we have some time, we sit down, we read, or we're going to sleep and we read for 15 minutes till our eyes are drooping. Tip number 3, give books as rewards and gifts. I know kids have many things that they wish for Christmas, for their birthdays, for when they're good, for an extra something that maybe grandma will buy them, but do give books on occasion, because a gift is always associated with something good, and if you give a book to a child, it is automatically associated with something good. I think I saw a video a couple of years ago where a family was giving away gag gifts, and one of the gag gifts was a book, and the child was really angry, and I thought that was really bad, because why would you associate your reading time and books with something that is laughable? Why would you do that to your kids? You need a good scenario would be giving someone a book and them being happy about it. I mean, I get books every Christmas and I'm always happy about it. What I used to do with my daughter when she was younger is that whenever we went out on a mommy and daughter date, I would buy her a book or a magazine, whichever one she wanted. In this case, like I mentioned in tip 2, books are associated with something good. Now, this might be a bit pricey sometimes, but I have found many charities and fairs where I live where I manage to get books at a very, very, very low price. So keep an eye out for those wherever you live, like Goodwill and such. They will benefit from your money, and you will benefit from having bought great books at great and low prices, and your children will benefit from the information and the nurturing that they can get from books. Tip number 4. This is very fun. Something one of my teachers in primary did to get us reading more was she told us that we had to find our favorite book, our favorite story, like a really short one, and we had to produce and direct our own play that was to be based on this story. So all of us got a book, we made it into a script, we found the characters from our own class to play them, we found costumes from our parents and from school, and put on this amazing play that I still remember to this day, and we were only 9 years of age. So that was grand. It was super fun, and I can tell you that everyone was interested. I made my own play, I had my friends play in it, then my friends had their own play and I played a part in it. You can have your children perform for you or for your family, but that will show you that they truly grasped the concept of the book and the story. And they become more productive just by reading. Chances are they will enjoy reading more from then on, just like I did. I ended up reading more and even writing more. I used to be horrible when I was 9 years old when it came to essays. I remember one time we were writing something about our grandmother, and I actually wrote, she is the mother of my mother. That is, I think, the most horrible sentence I wrote ever. But here I am now writing book. Tip number 5. To finish off, do not force your likes on your children. They may be your children, but there is no guarantee that they will like what you did when you were their age. If you force them to read your own books, they will probably hate it and will end up hating books as a result. Just like I said in my other video, I didn't start reading consistently until I found the books that changed it all for me, which was Harry Potter. But when I tried to introduce it to my daughter as a book, she didn't want to read it, so I couldn't exactly force her to read it because that was not what she wanted to read. It was not her type of book, and her types of books are not my type of books. I mean, at her age. Harry Potter was not what my mother would have liked to read, but it was totally me. So she bought me the books, and from then on I started reading, and I always had this genre that I always went with. And even though she didn't like it, she always bought me and gave me the money to buy the books that I wanted to read. And that is probably why I still read right now. If she had to force on me her likes, I would hate reading because I don't like what she reads at all. She reads a lot in Maltese and I read a lot in English. I read fantasy, she doesn't like fantasy, so you can't mix and match those. Her likes are not my likes. Your likes will not be the same as your children's. You can be certain that once they find the book that they will love, be it something you like or something you think is very stupid, they will learn to love books and they will pick more volumes by themselves as they grow up. And they probably will change their genre as they go. I changed it. I used to like romance a lot, but now I like thriller. I used to like fantasy, then supernatural, then gothic. I change them all the time. I had a few years of only reading classics. It changes. It makes you grow even more because the span of the genre that you read is even bigger. I believe that books are training for your mind. It is one of the most ideal things you can do with your free time. It is like working out for your brain, but you don't have to move to do it. You can buy books, your kids can read on their tablets if it's more comfortable for them. Whichever they find more relaxing for them, as long as they read something. Maybe they will not like reading fiction, but at least they're reading. And it will be easier for them when they are a bit older and they are given books as assignments. Because if they don't read when they are younger and they are given books when they grow up and they have to do assignments on them and exams and long essays, how are they gonna do that if they don't know how to grasp a story, how to dissect it? How are they gonna do that? Always remember that children are like sponges when they are young. How you introduce things in their life and day-to-day routine is probably how they will continue to live their whole life if you are lucky. So bring in books earlier in life. They will probably be so accustomed to them that they will keep on reading for as long as they live. We have come to the end of my video. I hope that you found it informative and that I have given you at least a little bit of information and a little bit of help. If you like my video, please do click that like button, and if you would like to see more of my videos, you can click that subscribe button to turn my frown upside down. Do head over to my other video about what books got me writing and reading consistently. I will link it down below. That is all from me. Have a great day and I'll see you on the next one.